everyone, here we are at our Friday afternoon fun. Today we're going to make a Bead Buddy lizard. It's pretty cute. We're going to do it live, so if you have along and do it with us. If you have questions while you're working on it, you can go ahead and put them in the comments. We have our camera woman Suzanne mic today, so she can read your comments out loud, and we can answer any questions you have while we're going. While you're getting set up here, I'm going to tell you what kinds of supplies we need. We're going to need some beads, the ones that are going to work the best. You could see this up close, but we're going to move the camera in a little bit overhead so you can maybe see them better then. You're going to need some scissors. Some tape is optional, but you'll definitely need some string. I have here yarn, but this is not really a good time to go out shopping for craft supplies, and there's a lot of different kinds of strings that you can use. You can use ribbon, you could use twine, any sort of string you've got at home will do. Doesn't have to be exactly yarn. So before we shift our camera overhead here, we're going to get our yarn set up. What you're going to need, I've already got mine cut. You're going to need a big piece of string, and it's going to be just a bit longer than your arm width. So go ahead and cut your string so that it is a little longer than your arms stretched out to the side. And give us a minute here. We're going to move our camera overhead now, and that way you can see, a little bit better what we're going to do. So just give us a minute to shift here, and we'll get going. Okay. So I've got here a pattern for our lizard. If you want to do a lizard or a different kind of bead buddy, you can find all kinds of patterns online real easily. Just go ahead and Google bead buddy pattern. The lizard I think is maybe the most often one that people start with, but there's all kinds of different animals and other shapes that you could do out there. So for a minute here, I'm just going to explain how we can read this pattern. You can see there's a little arrow. It's telling you can start here at the nose, and you're going to work your way down towards the tail. And this arrow is telling you could tie a knot at the end here. You can see we've got these lines off to the side. That is going to be your string. And all of these circles here are your beads. This one is color-coded. So we have, green beads here. We've got black for the eyes. We've got a bit of a darker green for the belly here. And sometimes you'll see patterns, instead of having color-coded pattern there, they've got letters inside the bead shapes telling you, maybe green here, black here, whatever different colors you might be using, you might see that. And so what you're going to do is you're going to work from this end down to this end, and you're going to build your bead buddy across row by row. And when you do, you're going to take your strings, put them through the beads, so basically the trickiest part of this is remembering you need to read these row by row. We've got a zoomed in piece here on the feet. That's a little tricky, but you know what? We can figure out what to do with it if we look at what this string is doing. So there's a little skinny line here that's showing our string. It's going out and around. So here on this bigger lizard piece, we're going to have our strings going back and forth through the beads. This one we're going to work with one string looping around and coming back. So we'll show you that in person, but that is how you can read a bead buddy pattern. Now you've got the tools. You can do any bead buddy you want. So we need to get our string ready, and I've got mine already cut here. If you've got yours cut too, you're ready to go. You can fold it in half, find the middle. If you want to have your bead buddy have a little loopy on the end so you can hang it here, or maybe add it to a keychain later. I don't have any keychains, so I decided to do a loop on here because now's not a good time to go shopping, but maybe someday down the road it will be okay to go shopping, or maybe someday I'll place an online order and I can add some key rings in there, and then I'll be able to hook a key ring right on there once I get one. So I'm going to do the same thing on here. We've got the part of our yarn where we're folded. We're just going to wrap it around our fingers, and put it through to tie a knot, but we're not going to put it all the way at the end so that we still have this little loop ready to go. That is going to help us put a keychain on later. All right, and remember I said you might need some tape. I've got a piece of tape here. I am going to tape down that loop just so my bead buddy isn't flying all over the place while I work on it. That's going to help hold my yarn in place. But if you are a pro bead buddy maker and you don't need to have your yarn stay in there with you, you can do it freely all over the place. I'm also going to take 2 pieces of tape and I'm going to wrap them around the ends of the yarn here. My yarn, I don't know if you can see it, it's got some little fuzzies sticking out, and putting a piece of tape around the end here is just going to help me thread the beads a little bit easier. If you're doing this, you're going to want to wrap that tape pretty tight so that it will still fit through the beads. If you do it too loose, you're going to maybe wind up in trouble where you can't get your string to go through the bead. Okay, I've got one that's almost wrapped here. You don't need a piece of tape as long as I got here. I didn't measure very well. Sometimes I don't think very thoroughly when I'm talking about something else while I'm doing it. Okay, I'm going to wrap my other string up here. And then we'll be ready to dive right in. I'm going to make a lizard today with green and yellow beads, and I'm going to have these sort of blue iridescent eyes. I've got a bunch of beads I dumped out here, so I'm going to pick out yellow and green ones and these iridescent ones for my lizard, but whatever color beads you have at home will work. I'm going to pull a few out so you can see what kind of beads these are. They're called pony beads, but if you don't know, or you don't remember what the name of it is, take a look. This is what they look like. That's what you're looking for when you're picking beads out for this kind of project. Okay, so we've got our strings. We've got 2 out to the sides, and we are taped down. Got our beads ready to go. So when we do our lizard, we're going to start with the nose. Remember, there was that arrow on our list that was pointing to the nose. So I've got 1 bead here because in the nose row, there's only 1 bead. So we're going to put our 1 bead on 1 string, and then we're going to take the other string and we're going to stick it through the bead the other way. So you could see I pushed this string through this way. I'm going to take this string and go through the other way. And then you've got your bead on. It's kind of got an X shape. You've got 1 string coming through one side, 1 coming through the other. You're just going to pull those strings through until that nose goes all the way up to the top. There we go. We've got our nose done. Row 1. We're going to continue with that same technique. We're going to go down to row 2. We need 2 beads. I don't know if that's still part of his nose. I don't know all the anatomy of a lizard. But I've got 2 beads here. I'm going to stick my string through one way, and then I'm going to take the other string, and I'm going to stick it through the opposite direction. There we go. Whoop! Doesn't want to come all the way through. There we go. And I'm going to pull the ends. There we go. We got a nice start. Okay, now this next row, remember we're going row by row down the lizard. We need 3 beads for this row, but we're going to put the eyes in here. So we need eye, lizard body, eye. So I need 2 eyes and a lizard body color. And I'm going to put them on, in that same order. We got 1 eye on the outside. We've got the lizard body color in the middle. And we've got the other eye on the other side. And I'm going to put the other string through in the opposite direction. And just pull those strings tight. There we go. We've got part of our head done. It's time for the neck now. We need 2 beads for the neck. So 2 beads going on. And the other string needs to go through the other direction. I think I didn't get my tape tight enough on this other string. It keeps getting a little stuck. There we go. What a nice lizard neck. Okay. Next up, we're going to work on the lizard's arms and hands. So this is a little bit of a different step. We're still going to do that same kind of looping string, but we're going to work one side at a time. So we need 2 pieces for the lizard body, and we need 3 pieces for the lizard's toes. If you're doing a single colored lizard, then you'll grab 5 beads of the same color, but I'm going to have a green body and yellow toes on this lizard. So I have 2 green ones and 3 yellow ones. All right, let's start with this side. What we're going to do is we're going to put the lizard body color on first. We're going to put both of them on the string. There's 1, and there's 2. And you can put it all the way right up next to that lizard neck. Next, we're going to put the 3 finger colors on. I guess those are fingers, toes. I don't know what they're called on a lizard, but we're putting them on next. And get your 3 lizard finger colors on there, and you're going to get them pretty close to those other 2 you put on there, but you don't want them all the way on because we need to take that same string. What we're going to do is we're going to make a big circle. We're going to loop. We're not going back through those yellow ones for the toes, but we are going to go back through these green arm ones, and we're going to go in the direction from outside the lizard's body towards the lizard's body. So we're going to push those beads right through. And now when you're pulling this one tight, a good trick is to grab the string that went out to make that loop, to grab it there while you're pulling the loose end of the string. And I like to keep my finger through that loop until it gets pretty close, because if you pull it all the way tight before your without your lizard arm beads right next to that body, you're going to have a gap in your lizard. So I like to use my finger to help me keep it a little loose, so I've got room to adjust before it's all the way tightened down. Okay, there we go. We got 1 lizard arm. We need to do the other lizard arm. So we're going to set that string aside and grab the one from the other side. We're going to do the same thing to get that arm. Remember, we had 2 lizard body color beads, and then we had 3 toe color beads. And we've got our cameraman on in the comments with a mic. So if you guys have any questions as we're going, or just want to say hi, go ahead and let us know, and Susanna can read that comment out to us. Okay, so we put all the beads on, and remember, we're taking that same string, we're skipping over the toes, and we're pushing it back through those arm beads. We're going to get it pretty tight, but before we get it all the way tight, we're going to take a moment to adjust, make sure the arm is right next to the body, and pull it nice and tight. There we go. We got some cute little arms on our lizard. Oh, he's looking so cute so far. Okay, we're going to continue on with the body, but now, as you can see on this lizard that I already did here, he's got a different color in his stomach. If you want his stomach all the same color, you're going to work through this part with the same color beads for the whole thing, but I'm going to do a green body and a yellow belly. So, to do that, we're going to remember, we're reading this shape, this pattern. There's our pattern. We're reading it in rows. So our next row here is going to be body color, body color. So I need 2 body colors and 1 belly color. And I'm going to put them on in that order. I've got my green one here. I've got a yellow one for the belly. And I've got another green one. There we go. And my other string is going to go through in the opposite direction. And I'm going to tighten both strings. And there we go. His belly's getting started. Okay, for our next row, we just did that one there. We're moving on to this one. We're actually going to do 2 of the same rows. So we're going to get our body color for the outside. I'm going to need 2 of those. And I'm going to need 2 of the belly color for the inside right there. I'm going to grab my string. I'm going to put these beads on. We're going to do body color 2 belly colors, and a body color. And we're going to put this string through the opposite direction. That's the trick with this project, is that you got to make sure the strings are going in the opposite direction. If you're having a struggle like me and you can't get it through all your beads at once, you can do a few at a time, slide a few at a time across. As long as it's not tightened down, you can always adjust them back together later. There we go. We're going to do the same color scheme again for the next row. So remember, we're taking a body color, then 2 belly colors, and then a body color. Now this is the widest row on our lizard here. It's only 4 beads, but some of these bead buddies, they might have even wider rows than this. So if you are a or a different kind of shape, you might find, like a pretty long string of beads that you have to work the string the opposite way through. Okay, there we go. We're about halfway done with our lizard here. We're going to move to this next one. It's going to match this row we did up here. It's going to be 1 body color, then 1 belly color, then 1 body color. And when you're putting these on, it doesn't matter which string you use. You're putting both the strings through evenly anyways in the end, so you can pick which one to go with. You can alternate. Doesn't matter. There we go. We got our strings going both directions, and we're going to pull it closed. Okay, it's time to do the back feet here. So we're going to do them exactly the same way as we did these top feet. If you weren't done when we did the top feet, we'll show it to you again. For each foot, we're going to work with just 1 string, and we're going to need 2 body colors and 3 toe colors. If you're doing your lizard completely in one color, then you just need 5 beads of one color. First, you're going to put on 2 beads for the body color. That's going to be his leg. I like to slide them all the way close to my lizard body at this point, but you could always do it a little later if that works better for you. Okay, we need 3 toes. I guess if you wanted a 4-toed lizard, you could put 4 on, but my lizard's going to have 3 toes, so I'm going to put 3 on here. Okay, there we go. I'm going to get them close to those other beads, but not all the way there. And I'm taking the same string. I'm going to skip over those toe beads, and I'm going to put it the opposite way back through those body beads. One and 2. There it goes. And our tip for working with these legs, when you're pulling that free end, it's really helpful to hold the initial string that was going through. Okay, I got my leg nice and close. I've got my toes. They're going to wrap around here, and I'm going to tighten that leg up. Okay, there we go. Right next to the body. And we need to do a leg on the other side. Woo, my lizard's swinging around here. Okay, I'm going to have 2 body colors and 3 toe colors. One, 2 for the leg, and 1, 3 for the toes. And we're going to take the same string, push it the opposite way through those leg beads, but we're skipping over the toe beads because we need those to loop around in a circle. There we go. All right, we're getting pretty close. We need to do this sort of the bottom of our lizard, the back end. We need to taper it off so we can get to the tail. Okay, our next row, you can see here, is only 2 beads. We're going to put 2 body color beads on. And then, just like before, we're going to put the other string through the opposite direction. There we go. And we're going to pull it nice and tight. Do we have any questions or other comments, Susanna?
Not yet.
Not yet. That's okay. If you're watching this video later when we're not live and you have some questions, you can throw them in there and we can get back to you. Or you can always give us a phone call or an email. We're happy to help you out. Okay, we're on to the tail now. The tail is going to go kind of fast because, look, each row is just one bead. Now, on this one, I made the tail all the same color, but I think I'm going to change it up for this lizard, and I'm going to alternate colors. I'm going to start with the green one. And then I think I'll do a yellow one next, and we'll do a nice little pattern there. There we go. There's the bottom of our lizard. Okay, I'm going to do a yellow bead next. And now, you might see on the pattern it says the tail is a certain number of beads. In this case, our pattern says the tail is 6 beads long. But you can see here, that didn't look long enough for me, so I added another one. I've got 7 beads in that tail. Tails are pretty flexible here. If you want more beads or less beads, you can make a shorter or longer tail. You just keep doing the same pattern with your strings going back and forth through one bead as long as you like until you get a tail that satisfies you. Okay, I'm still doing my pattern here. One green one and then one yellow one. There we go. A green one is next. There's all kinds of beads out there. We have here, you know what, these ones, I thought they might glow in the dark. They looked like they were glow in the dark kinds of beads. They have that little, softness to the color that you usually see with glow in the dark beads. But I tried them out and they don't glow in the dark. But I do know that there are some glow in the dark beads out there. We've also I've seen some that have more like a clear color with sparkles on them. I've seen some that are shiny. We even have some here at the library that are pretty cool. They glow in the dark and they change color in the sunlight. So when you're inside, they look like white beads, but when you take them outside, forgot to go the other way through there. When you take them outside, they change color. We got purple ones and pink ones and I think orange ones in there. So yeah, there's a lot of different neat beads out there that you could do this kind of project with. Okay, I'm going to put one more bead on and then I think that's enough tail for me. And then we'll just tie it off. There we go. That's enough tail for me. So I'm going to take these two ends. There's a few different kinds of knots that you can do, but I find instead of doing, a knot like this, like you use when you start to tie your shoes, I find that a knot where you wrap it around is going to stay more secure. It's less likely to undo itself when you're walking around with your backpack or whatever. The tricky part with this, though, is getting it close to the end of the tail. If you get it too far away, your beads are going to loosen up. You got to just go slow. Make sure you get it right where you want it before you tie it down. Okay, I'm just going to trim off these extra ends here, and our bead buddy is done. It's good to go. And you can take it and put it on a keychain, loop it around something else. You got this little, that kind of looks like a lizard tongue there. You got a little loopy. If you didn't want a loopy, but you did it one anyway, and you just want a lizard tongue, you could cut it right there. And those lizards, some of them have those forked tongues. That could look just like a real lizard. So there you go. You got your bead buddy lizard. There's a lot of different animals out there, and they're a lot of fun to make. You can do the same technique to make different animals, and show us what you made. Add a picture to the comments. We'd love to see how your lizard came out or what other animal you. All right. Have a great day, friends. Bye.